Okay, here we go. Y'all, I thought I was streaming already. I'm talking to nobody. Okay, let's see. Hopefully I pop up. Here we go. Here I am. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious, you guys. It is a Thursday. Why, on the world's longest trial, are we not having court today? I know a juror got sick, but before the juror got sick, this was an administrative day. Welcome everyone. I'm lcadilac, aka OG Cadillac, your favorite lawyer on the internet, I'm sure. Thank you for joining us. We already have a comment from King Divine. Hope you're on time when you go to your court. When you go to court. I do. I am on time. I went to court yesterday. I had to argue a motion for summary judgment. I was in the courtroom 30 minutes early, but I arrived at the courthouse almost an hour early because the parking in Dallas is now a nightmare. And you have to get here anywhere early to find a parking spot because there are so many people here now. So welcome, thanks for joining us this morning. Okay, so what I wanted to do, since we don't have trial today, and I do my recaps on Friday, I wanted to do another bonus for y'all and talk to you about the difference between state court and federal court. And I was going to go a little deeper and talk to you about the different types of court inside a state. King Divine, I did start the live on time. The live was supposed to start at 11:15, and that is when I started it. I don't know why YouTube said 10:18. I think that's because when I created the thing so that I could get the link. And you guys, just so you know, I am a really good lawyer. I am not a good technologist, so bear with me on all these. Hello, I am happy to see you guys here. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to talk to you today about the difference between like a state prosecution and a federal prosecution, and I'm going to use P. Diddy and Thug, of course, as the example. Okay, now I am a Texas lawyer, okay? I am licensed to practice in the best state. I am not licensed to practice in the state of Georgia, and I really don't know how they do things there. From what I can see in this trial, it is a shit show in Georgia on a daily basis. Okay, so good afternoon, Miss Boyd. Thank you for joining us. I'm so excited everyone's here. Make sure you're hitting like and subscribe. Make sure you're in the comments because I like to have discussion, and when you bring stuff up, we can have a great discussion. Travis Haight says the best state is Oregon and then apologizes for it, and that's why you know it's not the best state. Because here in Texas, we say Texas is the best state, and we don't say sorry for it. We don't apologize for our greatness. So welcome to the live. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Okay, so what I did this morning for you guys, this is how much I love you. For some reason, I don't think the font comes out very well. Here we go. Here we go. I found this about Georgia courts. What I was interested in is someone here in the live had mentioned that they thought Fannie Willis appointed YFN Glanville, Judge Glanville. If you're new to this station, everyone has a rap name, okay? I'm OG Cadillac. So YFN Glanville, I was told, was appointed by Fannie Willis. And so I went to find this to determine if that is the case. I did not find out if that's the answer, but one thing I did want to discuss was like the different courts and how they rank, and this document actually ranked them perfectly. So we have here, and these are in order of importance, the Supreme Court of Georgia, the Court of Appeals, Superior Court, State Court, Juvenile Court, Probate Court, Magistrate Court, and Municipal Court. Okay, in Texas we have similar. We have a Supreme Court, we have a Court of Appeals, we have district courts, we have county courts, then we have probate courts. And they literally rank that way, and we look at them that way. Like your order of importance as a judge goes this way. So the Supreme Court is always going to be the top. We're talking about the Supreme Court of Georgia here, right? So they do the same thing that the U.S. Supreme Court does, but with Georgia law specifically, not federal law. The Court of Appeals is where Young Thug is headed after this debacle of a trial ends, okay? That is when you say, no, something was done wrong. Now, I don't know the difference between superior and state court. I don't know that difference because I'm not in Georgia. If their superior court is like our district court, then I'm guessing that that is a higher volume of money in a lawsuit, and maybe higher felony type crimes, maybe higher crimes. And then state court would be lower money in a lawsuit and lower crimes. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but I know here in Texas, the district court is the higher. And so if you want to be in district court, your claim has to be over $200,000. So otherwise, you're going to county court. Then they have their own juvenile courts. We in Texas have juvenile courts, but our juvenile system is very bizarre. Then you see probate court. Here in Texas, particularly in Dallas, we have some probate judges who like to think that they're on the level of the Supreme Court, but they are not. They're just above a muni court. The magistrate court, I'm assuming, is the court that they go to for the warrants, because you have to go to a magistrate judge. It's a low court, you know. I don't think a lot of magistrate judges are actually seeing people and determining things. And then municipal court. Here in Texas, I call it muni court, municipal court. We also have JP court, and I don't see justice of the peace here. In Texas, the municipal court is going to be real lawyers. The judges have to be real lawyers. But in Texas, we have justice of the peace courts, and the JP judges don't have to be lawyers. So you can just run a popularity contest and do 3 weeks of training, and boom, now you're a judge in charge of people's lives, which is freaking wild. Okay, it says here that the Georgia magistrate courts have, their magistrate court is going to be the same as the JP court. Now, I don't know if their chief magistrates are elected every 4 years. Okay, if they are electing their JP judges, I'm going to guess that they are electing their superior court judges. Ooh, here's a chart. Hold on, let me share this with you. I love charts. Look at this. Look at this. Okay. Here's the Georgia. Oh man, this is lovely. Thank you to whoever built this, showing us the Georgia court system. Okay, muni court, magistrate court. They're calling this the same thing basically. Then you have, holy crap, they have 370 muni courts? That's a lot. You have 159 probate courts, 72 state courts, and superior courts, you have 49 circuits. This is exclusive federal or felony jurisdiction. Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. You know, the higher, the higher. Then you go up to the Court of Appeals, then you go to the Supreme Court. That's kind of your last resort, right? The Supreme Court, and if you lose at the Supreme Court, you just lose, you're fucked. Okay, so that is interesting. Now, in Georgia, they are electing judges, and I did read in this document that there is a requirement of having been an attorney for 7 years prior to running for judge. And I wish we could throw that requirement into the requirements here in Texas, because, yeah. All right, let me get into the comments before we go any further. Do you think the DA in Georgia has a real case? Ms. Boyd, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Do I think they have a real case against Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug? No. No, I don't. Hi, K-Way. Thanks for joining. Jermaine, yes, I'm OG Cadillac. And Eats by Eddie, hi. Okay, King Divine. In Texas, you can be a municipal court judge with no legal education. In Texas, you could be a municipal court, or I'm sorry, JP court judge, Justice of the Peace, with no legal education. You go into like a 2-week training class or something. Now, the Justice of the Peace in Texas is only seeing evictions, civil cases under $20,000, and certain tickets and, I don't know, some really petty crimes. I know one day I was over at the JP court, and there was a suit, and it had to do with a stolen car, and then the guy who stole the car showed up in the stolen car, so there was a lot of drama, and that was really fun. Hi, John. Welcome to our live here today, and thank you for joining us. I'm so happy to see so many people here. This is fantastic. King Divine Judge Glanville never went to law school on his Wikipedia. First, we call him YFN Glanville, okay? And secondly, he did absolutely go to law school. And under Georgia law, he practiced for 7 years before he was able to run for judge. Now, someone had mentioned that maybe Fannie Willis had appointed him into something. Maybe she's able to appoint him to be like the head judge, which he is. But I don't think so. I don't think she appointed him anything. That sounds to me like a very big conflict. Okay. So that's how state courts work. The federal court system is different. Federal judges are appointed. To become a federal judge, you have to go before the Senate and the Congress of the United States and answer their questions. And then if you pass their muster or whatever, then you can be appointed to be a federal judge. And once you're appointed, you're just there unless you really mess it up or die. Just like our Supreme Court, they're appointed as well. So federal judges are no joke, all right? They, first of all, are practicing with federal law. They're not practicing state law. They don't give a shit about the laws of the state on a daily basis, right? They care about our federal laws. Secondly, their buildings are scary as shit. Outside of the federal courthouse, there's like 18 security guards. They metal detect and they do all this stuff with the vehicles that drive in. Even the judges that go into the judge parking, they have to be examined every morning. They're like, it's scary. I don't like to go to federal court because in federal court, it is so formal and it is so rigid. And I don't like that. I'm not into formality. I don't know if you noticed, but formality is not really my thing. I'm not super rigid. Also, in federal court, you pretty much can only wear navy, black, or gray. And I really like color. So personally, I like to practice in state courts, okay? But I'm also a litigator, and most of the litigation I'm doing is about real estate, and so that is handled in our district courts. You would never go to the federal court about real estate unless it was some kind of interstate contract or something that got breached there. So federal courts are very different, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. Okay, back to the comments. Julie, thank you for joining us. Do I think it will be overturned in appellate court? Yes. I think, well, the reason I took the long sigh is because I don't know that it will ever come to a conclusion. I don't know that there's ever going to be a verdict to appeal. At this point, I will be a grandmother before, you know, this is over. So I don't know that there will ever even be a chance to appeal. But do I think that Thug and the defense will win on appeal? Yes. The reason is, in the very beginning, in her opening statements, Attorney Love, YFN Love, put a burden on the defendant to show evidence. There is no burden on a defendant, period. The state has entirety of the burden, and that burden is to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay? That's a really high standard, and I feel like maybe that standard isn't being held highly enough in jury rooms, really, but it is law, case law, went to the Supreme Court. If the prosecution tries to put that burden onto the defense, it's a mistrial. YFN Glanville didn't call a mistrial because he's afraid to, because he has a history, because he had called a mistrial recently and the guy got to walk free and went and murdered some other people. So YFN Glanville is very scared about having blood on his hands. And I get that, I understand that. But to me, when you're behaving that way, you're no longer a neutral arbiter of the law. So I do think it will be overturned in appellate court, of course. I am Tavonda. Thank you for joining us. I'm so happy to see you again here today. K-Way, I heard YFN Glanville does not like Steele because he took him in front of the Bar Association. Ooh, drama. I'm going to write that down and I'm going to Google that. I will report back to you on that one. I had heard that YFN Glanville did not like YSL Steele because YSL Steele had something YFN Glanville did overturned. But maybe YSL Steele reported YFN Glanville for inappropriate behavior at the bench. So that would be interesting. John, YFN Glanville didn't mute his mic the other day. It was not so quiet, sneaky statement. So John, I am going to talk about YFN Glanville coughing into the mic tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about the recap. I recap on Fridays. I want to stick with that so that, you know, y'all know every Friday is a recap. If I'm on a Thursday, it's just bonus content. We're just kind of kibitzing here. You can't have a phone in there. You're not supposed to have your phone on. We're going to talk about it. Tavonda, you know, that's a tomorrow subject, and I know you know that. Jean, if you feel she appointed him, I just want to point out that feelings are not actually facts, okay? So you can feel that all you want, but we don't know that factually. Eats by Eddie's. Is the judge allowed to consult other judges about decision he's on the fence about during the long breaks? Is that legal? That actually is why I wanted to do today's video. Because during the trial, I think it was last week, maybe the week before, maybe one of you remember, YFN Glanville said to the defense and the prosecution, but mainly defense, he said, this isn't how things operate in federal court. Those of you that have a federal practice know this is not how things operate in federal court. So the only people in the room who would have a federal practice would be the defense attorneys. And I'm going to cut straight to the point, y'all. The reason this is not the same as federal court, the reason this is a total mess is because it is not federal court. The feds do not come for you without receipts. The feds do not come for you without receipts. The federal government is not making cases against people unless they have cases to make. Your state government, though, that is different. The state government is willy-nilly doing whatever they want. We're going to talk about this tomorrow, but we heard the gang investigator expert this week say that she interpreted this art as a call to the feds are not making a case based on interpretation. Period. Period. If the feds come for you, you're going down. Period. Period. There is one person I know that's ever beat the federal government. I'm going to show you this man. Now, I'm sure there are others, okay, but this guy I know is alive, and he is actually in Dallas. This man right here, hold on. This man right here, this man's name is John Wiley Price. He is a Dallas County Commissioner. I don't know what that means. We have these Dallas County judges. I don't know what that means. John Wiley Price was stealing money, doing something. I'm really not sure. I had just gotten here and I really didn't follow his case. But the feds came after this man and he was acquitted. He was acquitted. I have a friend who's a judge and she just posted his picture. It was his birthday. She said, happy birthday. And I wrote, oh, the man who beat the feds. Because the feds don't come for you without some reason to come for you. Period. Period. All right, let me come back to the comments before I get into the feds over on the Diddy. I am Tavonda, or any devices. I was scared. I had to take off my Apple Watch and take it back to my car. Tavonda, are you going to the courtroom? And if so, I need you to privately message me. We need to talk about this. Mrs. Mondo, you made it. Hi, I'm so glad to see you. Okay, let's see. Federal court won't allow you to come in their building with one. Oh, Tavonda, I'm allowed to go in the federal court with my phone. But maybe because I'm a lawyer. I don't know. Okay, Jermaine says, is it against the law the way YFN Glanville is arguing for the prosecution and giving them angles to use in order to get evidence in? Also, he will never give the defense the equivalent time to argue. Yes. Yes, he is. It's called bias. He's supposed to be a neutral party. He is not being neutral. He is hand-feeding the prosecution. My understanding is he has been a law school professor. Maybe he teaches evidence. I don't know. But he is definitely live in front of us teaching the prosecution the rules of evidence. And telling them ways that, oh, well, you could sneak that in and you could, oh, well, you could do it, but not under this witness. No. When we get to court, we're expected to know how to behave in court. We're expected to know the rules. We're expected to do those things without the judge's help. The judge is not supposed to help us. If one of you walked into a courthouse today and went up to a judge and said, I need help, they would say, sorry, no can do. No can do. Do you think Pritchett and Robinson verdict may affect this verdict? Alda, I don't know what the Pritchett and Robinson verdict is, so if you want to give us some more information about that in the chat, I would love that, and then maybe I can talk about it. Ms. Boyd, you live in Georgia. How can you get Fannie and Glanville out? Go vote. Vote against them. Support the candidate that runs against them. That's really it. Red Bunny, hello. Good morning in Texas, afternoon other ways. Okay. Nia, NBA Youngboy did not beat the feds. Actually, I was gonna mention him. NBA Youngboy is an idiot. He was put on house arrest and sent to Utah to live in the most beautiful snow-covered mountains and ride horses and do all these wonderful things. And then, while on that house arrest, came up with this prescription drug thing and started getting, I don't even know the real name for it, like scissor. Like, he started getting the cough syrup stuff to get high, faking patients' names, and guess what? He's in prison. They took him back from Utah and put him in the clink. And guess what? That judge is going to be personally offended. Like, bro, I took a chance on you, and not just did I take a chance on you, I publicly took a chance on you, and you publicly made me look like a fool for doing so. Yeah, he's in jail. He ain't beat nobody. Okay. K-Way, the feds know this case. The state is doing, okay, original intelligence. The state is doing whatever. I can't emphasize enough to all of you how the state does whatever they want all the time. This is not a one-off. This is not just Jeffrey Williams. This is not just Young Thug. All of us, regular people, are being prosecuted on bullshit on a daily basis. And most regular people can't afford to fight it the way Jeffrey Williams can. So most regular people are just taking a plea deal, like Trontavious Stevens and like our good friend DK. You know, you're a normal human being. You don't have the money to fight these charges. With DK, I think that shit was double jeopardy. But he can't afford the lawyer to go make the argument that it's double jeopardy. So what are you going to do? You know, this is how our government, and I say our government, our federal government doesn't do this. This is how our local and our state governments strong arm us into giving them money, or one of the many ways that they do it. YSL Adams look confused. Listen, we'll talk about this tomorrow, but I have never been so disappointed than when I opened my the trial on Monday, and it was YSL Steele doing the cross-examination and not YSL Adams. Man, I was looking forward to that. Okay, King Divine, a Juris Doctorate is actually a law degree, so he has gone to law school. What award today? He is extremely biased, there's no doubt. But here's the thing, y'all. YFN Glanville is biased, and we're seeing that, but lots of judges are biased on a daily basis, particularly in criminal courts. They are biased towards the state. They assume that the state wouldn't come after someone unless the state had receipts. And that is a false assumption. That's a bad assumption. That's an okay assumption in a federal court. That is not an okay assumption in a state court. Okay, I am Tavanda. A relative of mine had court date for an indictment at the federal courthouse, and we weren't allowed to have our phones. Interesting. What state was that in? Which federal courthouse? Nia says, can they file a case to stop him from intervening and or stop unethical love from arguing after she has lost? Oh, God, I wish. I really wish I could shut that bitch up. I talked last week, I think it was Thursday, about the different type of appeals, the interlocutory appeal and the appeal after the case. There certainly could be interlocutory appeals that they do right now, appealing decisions that the judge has made in the trial, but I don't think that they're doing that. I don't know if they're doing that. If they are doing that, I haven't heard about it. There is no way to stop Miss Love. One thing, though, that some of us have noticed is they used to call her Miss Love, and they used to call her Miss Hilton. And Miss Love and Miss Hilton used to coordinate their outfits together. But Miss Love has really worn everybody's patience to nothing. And they have started addressing Miss Love as, and I quote, the state. So that tells me, firstly, anytime I go against the government, I call them the government. You don't have a name in my mind. If you're a government employee, you are the government, period. Even if you're a teacher, sorry, you're the government. When they are taking away her name in front of the jury to call her the state, you know they've had it with her. They are done with her shenanigans. And no, they can't get her to just shut up. Ugh, God, she is so annoying. Now you guys see why lawyers are so stressed, because people like her exist everywhere. Nia, he beat the, NBA, or whatever his name is, beat the feds in LA. That's fine. But he's not beating the feds this time. He really messed up. I am Tavanda. I found an interrogation of Young Thug. He talked about the beef. I'm going to link. You guys have to listen to this. I wish I could get this to Mr. Steele and his team. Ooh, Tavanda, send it to me. That sounds awesome. I really want to hear that. Nia, he was put in Utah for the Louisiana case. All right, he was lucky to get to go to Utah. Louisiana is hot. Original Intelligence says, I have had a judge recuse themselves before. Well, some judges are good and they will recuse themselves. You know, a judge is supposed to recuse themselves if they are biased, if they have any relation to the case. I've heard that if a judge owns stock in a company, they need to, and the company's in front of them. That can start to get a little prickly when you have something like a money market fund where you put your money into it and then someone else buys stocks, so you don't know necessarily that you own the stocks. You could end up maybe having a conflict there. YFN Glanville does not think he's being biased. YFN Glanville thinks he's being a good judge. He keeps telling everyone that the trial needs to go faster and then taking hour-and-a-half breaks, telling them we need to move along, and then taking, a 30-minute break instead of a 10-minute break. YFN Glanville is the problem, and he is blind to him being the problem. Do I think he's talked to other judges? Yes, he's definitely talked to someone, because there was a shift a few weeks ago where all of a sudden the time became important. And he actually started going back against Miss Love, something he hadn't done at all. And I have speculated that either, his wife or his lover saw some stuff and was like, you're treating her inappropriately, cut that shit out. Could be wrong. It's definitely. Let's see. Take a Chance on Me from ABBA. I like that song too. Nia, he is in jail now and he will continue to be probably for a very long time. Hi, Prayer Changes. Welcome. Thank you, everyone, by the way, for joining us. This is awesome. I love having conversation with y'all. So thank you. Keep writing here in the comments and we can talk about these things. It's great. Okay, John, you have traffic tickets in Bexar County? Bexar County is where I went to law school, and it is also where I learned that there is deferred adjudication for traffic tickets in the state of Texas. So you really shouldn't have any traffic. Just go get the deferred adjudication. Judge would not allow Adams to cross Gaithers. They tried and shut it down. Aldo, what? Where did you see that? Tell me more. Oh, okay, Tavonda, Tampa, Florida. I'm not gonna talk about Florida. You already know. Same. I interned at the feds yesterday and was required to give up my phone. How interesting, y'all. I have always taken my phone into the courthouse. I took my phone into the federal courthouse and took photos. I've sponsored other lawyers and they've been sworn in and I've taken their photos. So I'm not gonna lie. There is a big difference between the way lawyers are treated and lay people are treated, especially in the courthouse. So that really could have to do with it. Mike Jones, thanks for joining us, says they locked up Young Thug's older brother who is deaf because he didn't answer the phone 2 weeks ago. What? This shit is wild. This place is wild. Tavonda, thank you for sharing the link to the interrogation. I'm going to go look at it. Joey, thank you. Thank you. We should have 60 likes. In fact, it should be 99 likes right now. Thank you. Tavonda, please send it to us. Oh, you say, how can you send it to us? You can email it to info@cadilaclaw.net, CADILACLAW.net, because I am OG Cadillac, aka Lauren Cadillac, and I am an attorney in Texas. I mainly do real estate. I am a litigator. I was in the courtroom yesterday, and I am just really a nerd and interested in legal issues and stuff like that, and that's how I came here to this YSL case. Nia, I don't think anyone likes Miss Love. And I really like how you write this. Misery is tangible in her face. That's beautiful. If you're not a writer, Nia, you need to be. That is like a really beautiful way to phrase it. Chris is almost done. Welcome. And I don't know who the nerdy girl from Recess is. I don't know what Recess is, but I'm assuming she's gorgeous if I look like her. Okay, let's see. Nia, you should see the video of Fulton Commissioner talking about the judges coming to work late, and that's why the jail is full. I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't want a judge calling some shit at 8 a.m. I'm not trying to be at court by 8 a.m. and ready to go. I'm not. So I really don't mind that they get there late. I don't mind judges who start their docket at 10 a.m. That's for me. That is a really good joke. Original Intelligence, I think that the judge is going to have no choice but to hold her in contempt. He keeps saying he's going to. Hold on one second, y'all. Sorry about that. I'm talking so much, my mouth goes dry. I don't think he's gonna hold her in contempt. Actually, I was just joking yesterday. I took my daughter to court with me. We had some stuff to do in the afternoon, so she came with me. And I was telling her there used to be a jail on the 7th floor of the George Allen Court building here in Dallas. And I was saying, if I was a judge, oh man, I'd be putting people in contempt left and right. You look at me funny, I'm putting you in contempt. You give me a tone, you're going to jail, you're in contempt. I'm not trying to hear it. Most judges, this is why I'm not a judge, one of the many reasons. Most judges hardly ever use contempt. They're not really, it's not gonna happen. I don't think it's ever gonna happen with Miss Love. Aldo, that's right. There is no court today. There is no court tomorrow. There was no court last Thursday. There was no court last Friday. Like, it's unbelievable. How do you think that this trial will ever move along if we don't actually have court? Bama Boy, welcome. Yeah, no court today. Crazy. Oh, I'm Tavonda. Thank you. I will go to that link and look at it, and then maybe tomorrow we can talk about it. K-Way, is anyone keeping count on the overruled objections and how many times he went back on his rulings? Okay, so the point of this video was to compare state court to federal court, and this is a great place we can make that comparison. In federal court, you're not just going back on your rulings. When a judge makes a ruling, that's the ruling. You move on. Period. Like, it's not this game. It's not Miss Love crying to you, but judge, they just arguing your damn ear off, so you're like, okay. You wouldn't see this in federal court. Courts are open, y'all, so y'all can go down to a federal courthouse and watch some cases. You could go down to your local courthouse and watch cases, and I encourage you to do it. If you have time, go. It's very interesting. It's usually quite dramatic. I kind of love it. Go watch, and you will see a huge difference. A huge difference. Let's see. The YSL Glanville told Adams and Steele only one of them was allowed to cross. Well, we know only one person's allowed to cross. That is the rule. I'm wondering why YSL Steele was crossing as opposed to YSL Adams, because I personally believe YSL Adams is one of the greatest cross examiners of all time. And we'll talk about that more tomorrow. Okay. What's the difference between a law degree and a Juris Doctorate? There is no difference. A Juris Doctorate is a law degree. We just don't use Latin a lot in our regular vernacular, so we call it a law degree. But it's a Juris Doctorate. I am a doctor of the law. Let's see. How is love Gretchen from Recess? I'm going to Google that, Chris, and she better be incredibly cute. All right. How is Love permitted to keep pushing for what she wants even though the judge has ruled? Because the judge keeps letting her. Period. That's it. Period. If I was the judge and this was my courtroom, I'd be like, no. I made my ruling. Shh. And that would be the one time I was nice about it. One time, okay? That's just crazy. Wait, so Prayer Changes says she refused to be cross-examined by Adams, but that doesn't make sense at all. Excuse me, because she doesn't have a choice. Like, you get cross-examined by whoever cross-examines you. Let's see. Mike, you're going to move to Texas? Yeah. Okay, so everyone says the judge didn't let Adams cross the stud detective. That's funny, Mike. We're going to talk about this tomorrow, and by tomorrow, I'm going to have more information on that, because I don't understand that. You don't get to refuse. Like, you don't have a choice. You got to show up as a witness, and that's it. Tamika, thank you for joining us. I agree. He favors Miss Love, and it is pretty wild. Oh, Britt, yes, I'm glad you caught a live. I'm glad you're here. Everyone that is here, just make sure you are thumbs upping, you're hitting like, all those great things. Make sure, you heart stuff, whatever. I just feed the algorithm, if you will. D says, I think Love bringing up Lil Wayne in the game is a ploy. She's looking to rattle defense. She has no intention of calling them as witnesses. We're going to talk about that tomorrow, because we're going to do our recap tomorrow. We're going to talk about how the prosecution listed Mr. Wayne Carter, and then now all of a sudden wants to exclude him. Like, how do you exclude someone from your own list, you idiot? Okay. Don't get me started. I'm not going down that. Tomorrow I'm going down that rabbit hole. I'm not going down that rabbit hole today. Don't start. Could an alternative stood in for this? Okay. So, Ms. Boyd, this is a great question. Because there is the jury, right? There's the 12 jurors, and then there are several alternatives, especially in a case as long as this. The reason they had to stop and not have any further testimony on Wednesday is because even though there are the alternate jurors, every single one of them has to hear every piece of the presentation. So if one juror is in the bathroom, you can't start. If your alternate jurors in the bathroom, you can't start. Like you have to keep going, and all of the jurors have to hear all of the information. I will list the email in the chat here in a minute. I feel Attorney Love doesn't want to bring it because he could potentially say the beef didn't exist. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. I'm starting to think, and I'm going to talk about this tomorrow, I'm starting to think Miss Love has finally figured out that the only people who are going to actually provide testimony that supports her case are her fellow government employees. Just saying. They said the witness did not want YSL Adams to cross her. That is fucking unbelievable. That is crazy. I'm going to go look into it because that is crazy. You don't get to choose. I have not kept a log of the objections either. It would be too long. I wouldn't have enough notepads. But let's see. John, you said you're at 150 sidebars for this case. Well, we're at, 70 days of testimony. So 150 sidebars, that's 2 a day on average. That's actually pretty light. Sidebar is like, hey, we need to go dish something out and not have the jury hear us. And I don't know if you guys watched the YFN Melly case, but they did a lot of sidebars. And By the way, I'll be following that again when it resumes in 2026. It's on appeal right now, so nothing's going on with that one. Can Steele call Lil Wayne as his witness? If Steele has listed him as his witness, he can. Ms. Boyd says, YSL still started making all the objections initially, so that's what established him to be the one to cross-examine Gaither. Okay, Ms. Boyd, that is correct. So there's this rule. If myself and another lawyer are sitting together at the bench, we represent one side. But we represent the same side, right? Like, it's not just like there's 8 of us, 8 different people. We represent the same person. Like the way YSL Steele and YSL Adams both represent Jeffrey Williams, only one can go at a time. So if you make the objections, you do the cross-examination, period, full stop. So if they knew that they wanted YSL Adams to do the cross, then they should have had him make the objections. And that is definitely not a decision of the person on the stand. I don't think the witness would ever get a choice. I've never heard of a witness having a choice. Like, I don't think that happens. Maybe if it was like a child witness or something really sensitive. Hi, Michael. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate everyone who's here. Make sure you're hitting like and subscribe. Judge made Steele because he was the one doing the objecting. Yep, that's what we thought. Okay. Louisiana in the building. Okay, welcome. Britshire, we do know that this judge is not fair. See, when you make the objections, you have to cross. That's right, so that's good. Jermaine asks, is there ever a situation when a citizen and or felon is able to defend themselves? Yes. Anyone is allowed to defend themselves. They say the only fool in the courtroom is the one defending himself. So yeah, they could. Lots of people defend themselves, but they're idiots for doing that. You should never defend yourself. This can get way too emotional. The thing about lawyers is, like, we don't have feelings about the case, right? Here's what the law says. Here's where your facts. That's it. There's not feelings. The thing when you're personally involved is you have all these feelings. You have all this information that doesn't matter, and you want to get that out because of your feelings. That's not to be heard in a courtroom. And so a lot of people will try to defend themselves, and then they'll do a terrible job. Who was the guy? I forgot his name. He ran all these people over at a parade in Wisconsin, and his trial was last year. He was certifiably crazy, and he defended himself. That was a fun trial to watch. Steele made the first objection. Yep, that's right. He shouldn't have made that first objection. He should have made Adams do it. Okay, these government employees are not even able to keep their story straight. Okay, Val Pal, thank you, but you get what you pay for, you know what I'm saying? And we don't really pay a lot towards our government, so we're not really paying for people who know how to maintain a lie. Let's see. Does the city not have a planner that obtain images from the relevant time period? These Google Maps for present day make it difficult for the witnesses. Valpal, that is an interesting question, but my answer is gonna be probably not. You know, there's probably no one to do that out there. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, most of us are too emotional, Travis, to represent ourselves. Oh, that's right, Daryl Brooks. That's who it was. Thank you, John. Daryl Brooks. God, that guy was a nut. That was fun. Terrible situation. That guy got mad. He got in a fight with his girlfriend or something, and then turned the wrong way on a street and just ran people over in a parade and, like, killed them. And I cannot believe that. Like, I have gotten angry and done stupid stuff, but, like, it never landed or ended with, like, lives being taken. It's just wild. And then he defended himself because he was, like, certifiably crazy. Okay, Julie says she has lost all faith in the justice system by watching this case. Well, Julie, that's a much cheaper way to do it than I did. The way I lost my faith in the justice system is by going to law school, and that cost me a lot of money. So kudos to you for saving the money and doing it the cheaper way, and I'm sorry that you've arrived at this conclusion. I think anyone that pays any attention to our system will find it severely and disgustingly flawed. Someone said love. Jean, you said love reminds you of Daryl Brooks. Stop. She's not as nutty as him. She's at least a lawyer, and she's semi-organized and stuff, but gosh, ugh. Okay, King, I am going to call people who defend themselves idiots because it is stupid to do. And I am a lawyer, and that is how we make our money. So we are not out here encouraging people to represent themselves. It's a bad idea. Nisha, we're going to talk tomorrow about Lil Wayne and why he's not being called. Mason says they had another YSL case and one of the defendants defended himself and he did a great job for sure. Well, look, you guys have seen this prosecution. My 11-year-old could do a good job against this prosecution. So I'm not surprised that in Fulton County, Georgia, defendants can defend themselves with no legal education and beat the prosecution who has a legal education. That does not surprise me. But in most courtrooms, you need a lawyer. Let's see. I know who you're talking about. They gave him life. Yes, K-Way. They did give him life, and he deserved it. And they should have given him pills, too, for his brain. Others who defend themselves, Lynette Preston and Franklin Tyrone Tucker. I don't know who those people are. Chris, who picks a judge, and why pick a judge who has to take days off for Veterans Court? That's a great question. Well, first, who picks a judge to become a judge is, in Georgia and here in Texas, the citizens who are voting, okay? I don't know how they do assignments for judges in Georgia. I have no idea. I don't know if it's just a rotation. Is there a certain judge that gets certain level of felony? I really don't know how that happens. And I don't know. The judge is a government employee. Government employees are our employees because we pay taxes. I don't know about you, but my employees cannot be off all the time. My employees don't get 4 30-minute breaks a day. My employees don't take 2.5-hour lunch breaks, okay? So when I see judges do that shit, it really pisses me off. I mean, it really makes me mad because that's my money. And we as citizens are the only people who can stop that type of bad behavior, and the way we could do it is to vote them out. And then make sure the ones we're voting for know, like, we're voting them out because they didn't work enough. These are our tax dollars, and we want 8 hours of work. We're not paying you a salary of $150,000 a year plus to not work 8 hours a day. Get out of here. Oh, Jermaine, you meant defend themselves like outside the gas station. Oh, self-defense. Oh, that's totally different. Okay, how can you testify as an expert and a fact witness when all your police reports are gone? Alda, we'll talk about that tomorrow. We're doing our recap tomorrow. Don't get me started on the expert and fact witness. I talked about it last week. I cannot believe that a fact witness was allowed to be an expert. It just kills me. Xavier, what would have to happen for this to be a mistrial? Undoubtedly, you'd have to have someone like Miss Love turn to one of the jurors and tell him to fuck off or something like that. I mean, Wyatt Van Glanville is not interested in calling a mistrial, even though there are at least 3 events I can think of where he should have. At least 3. Let's see. My uncle got a 30-year sentence vacated, so I've been lost faith. Okay, Nia, I get you. Like, nobody should have faith in the system. We as Americans should not just be like, oh, the system works and it's going to be great and it's going to work for me. We should be skeptical. We should ask questions. We should not have faith. That hope thing Barack Obama did, no, we should not have hope. You are our government. You answer to us. I'm not going to just take your word for it. But that's me. Why didn't they deem him insane like they do mass murders? King Divine, I don't know why they didn't deem him insane. I really am not familiar with the laws of Wisconsin. I've actually never been that far north in our own country, so I don't know. John, subject matter jurisdiction was Brooke's favorite words. So true, so true. Drea says, this is random, but do court reporters use audio recording to help them perfect the record? There's been so much crosstalk in this trial, I don't know how she keeps up. That is a great question. And I'm going to guess that yes, they probably do now that things are recorded all the time. But I can tell you, like, their court reporter machines are like this big. They're really not large. and there's just a bunch of buttons, and they're typing in shorthand, which is like a language. And so they type in shorthand, and then when they have to go like actually create the record for an appeal, they write it out in real words, and they use the shorthand to like correct them. I know that they don't like it when you talk over each other, and I know this last week, oh my God, there was a scene, I'll show it to you tomorrow, where it's just, Steele was like, no, Miss Love, I'm done with your bullshit. Just talk right over her, which I thought was hilarious. But I can guarantee you the court reporter was very irritated at that point. So, K-Way, yeah, Shard did try to earn his money this week. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Gene, you're 62 and you've just lost your trust in the J. Well, congratulations for you for keeping it for 62 years. That's fantastic. I was like 28 when I lost the faith. Tamika, you said you were about to go to law school, but you're having second thoughts. Don't have second thoughts. Go to law school. Go. There should never be second thoughts. Go to law school. Even if you win, court is stupid. All right, King, I get you. How did the prosecutors only have portions of Gaylor's file like the lineup pictures? That's a really good question that I will answer tomorrow, Jermaine. Let's see. Julie, you complained about the judge in the Brooks trial, but now I see why she was awesome. I thought the judge in the Brooks trial was amazing. I mean, that woman was so patient. Also, she was really pretty. It's really random to find like pretty judges. There's one here in Dallas, and then that one there. Like, she's really strikingly pretty. But she was like a saint. If it had been me, oh my gosh, no, I would have acted a fool. Maybe because she knew she was being televised and people were watching it, but I don't know. Okay. Alda says that is the Pritchett and Robinson case. He didn't do that great. He was found guilty 3 days ago. Yeah. Chills says, isn't he the top judge in Georgia? No. If you go back to the beginning of this video, I showed you how the judicial system in Georgia is set up. The top judges in Georgia are on the Supreme Court. YFN Glanville is the chief judge. That's not the top judge. It's just the chief judge of his area. And that's probably why they gave him this case, which is ridiculous because they know the dude's always on break. I mean, I don't get it, but whatever. I think the state has a say on what Georgia. Melissa, thank you for joining, by the way. Thank you everyone that's here right now. I really appreciate it. Make sure you're hitting like, subscribe, all that. The state cannot have a say on the judges, except for each individual government employee is allowed to vote. They cannot have a say on a judge. That would be completely unconstitutional. Let's see. Ciara, we'll talk about the videos tomorrow. Julie, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. D, why does the defense have to remind the judge he hasn't made a ruling so often? I don't know. Why won't the judge make a damn ruling? You are a judge. By definition, your job is to judge, okay? Which means you have to make a ruling. You have to make a judgment. I don't know, man. I don't get it. I hate it when judges reserve their rulings. Yesterday, I was arguing a motion for summary judgment. The judge said that she would have her ruling to us by this afternoon. And it didn't bother me that much because my daughter was in the courtroom, and I thought, you know, if I lose, I don't want my daughter to see it. So that was fine. But usually, I want your ruling right now. Like, tell me if I won now. That's all right. PC76, thanks for joining. You tell people if they don't like the judicial system, they should do the right thing. I'm new to your channel. Appreciate your time. Thank you. Glad you're here. Doing the right thing is not enough. If you don't like the judicial system, you need to go to law school and become a judge. You need to vote. You need to be active politically. We are in a situation in our government where even if you haven't broken the law, you can be arrested for, I don't know, breaking the law. And then they, although they're supposed to prove that you're guilty, there is this modern assumption that you're guilty because you're arrested. I don't understand the assumption that the police are right. The police are government employees. Why would you believe anything they say? Unless you have physically hard evidence for me, I don't believe you. No. Sorry, I don't. Is it appropriate for the judge to sustain the question? Oh my God. Miss Drea, thank you for joining. I talked about this last week. I'm going to talk about it now. You don't sustain a question. You sustain an objection. Every time he says, I sustain the question, I get lit. I'm like, luckily these lawyers have practiced in his courtroom so they know what the fuck he's saying. Because if I was in that courtroom, I'd be like, excuse me, you sustain what? The question? So then they can answer my question? Is that what you mean? Like, what? You don't sustain a question, period. It's ridiculous. I cannot believe he says that. Like, how long have you been on the bench and you're saying I sustain the question? Just ridiculous. Nisha says, the light-skinned lawyer with the big eyes. He always makes face gestures at the jury, and it's kind of leading and hinting. I don't know which lawyer you're speaking of, and I haven't seen that. D says, I think YFN Glanville boss got in his ear, and that's why he's changed. I don't think so. I don't think Judge is the boss of that courtroom, and they don't have someone to give them feedback like that. Okay, guys, I think I hit a technical glitch. I hope you're still with me here. I don't know what is going on. Okay, so D, there is no boss. He didn't, it's not, well, hold on, rewind. YFN Glanville does have a boss. It's called his wife. Okay, that's the boss that told him about this, because he doesn't have a boss at work. So his wife probably said something. I am 98% sure his wife said something. Mason, we'll talk tomorrow about Lil Wayne. Okay? Thank you, Travis, for joining us. I'm so glad you made it. Y'all, Travis is someone that I've known since college. We met in college, and a bunch of art in my home was made by him. He is a fantastic artist. So, straight from hate is his art. Miss Boyds, YSL Steel needs to have an objection boot camp. Sister Love definitely has some. Are we calling her Sister Love now? Sudden death face-offs when it comes to his objection. YSL Steel, after this, like, if he decides, okay, I've had my multi-million-dollar case and I am tired, he easily can retire into professing. He would be able to retire to, you know, being a legal commentary person. He is a good lawyer, and he makes some good objections. Nisha says, and Lil Wayne just put out an album featuring Young Thug with the front cover showing a goat head wrapped with a snake. So your new cover will support the defense. That's why all of a sudden the prosecution doesn't want you. We're going to talk about that more tomorrow, okay, guys? Nia says, YFN Glanville doesn't give a fuck about court being televised. And I agree, he doesn't. And that's what I'm saying. Like, he must... Okay. I want to talk about this tomorrow, but on Monday, the dude was like, into the mic the whole day. I'm going to talk about it more tomorrow. He clearly does not care that we are watching. Not at all. Like, why are you coughing into the microphone? Okay. Tamika says, I feel the judge can run the court based off emotions, and it's scary. Yes, Tamika, go to law school and then go to a courtroom. Judges are often running off of emotions, and it is scary, but not in federal court. That's a state court. That's these local courts. It's these people who we like share space with, running on emotions and not the letter of the law. It's disgusting. I really didn't realize it happened until I got out of law school, and I went into a hearing in a Dallas probate court. I'm not going to say which number, but if she's watching, the judge knows who I'm talking about. She made some weird emotional decision. She does this all the time. She has these weird emotional outbursts. There are a bunch of judges here in Dallas who yell at people, who have like emotional, like, I get your job is hard. Your job is hard. I get that we see some shitty people as attorneys, and judges see some seriously bad stuff. I get it. But you're supposed to be a neutral party. Neutral means unemotional, means not, it's awful. Nia says, ego trumps the Constitution in Georgia. Amen, sister. And ego trumps the Constitution in every courtroom across America except the federal courts. Ms. Boyd, we're going to talk tomorrow about that. Chris, federal court, civilians can't have cell phones, but lawyers and prosecutors can. Okay, that solves the mystery. Because I'm like, I've always had my phone in federal court. But Tamika, that's what I'm telling you. Go to law school. Why wouldn't you want to have like privilege? Like after I got out of law school and I realized like what it meant, I didn't really realize it until I became a lawyer. It's a nice place that we're in over here. It's good. It's good to be familiar with the law and to have lawyers and judges be your peers. Like they're my peers, and that's a good thing. Although I will say, if you make shitty comments on the internet, like I like to do, sometimes I wake up on Sunday and I just like troll people. They freak out. What, you're a lawyer? Lawyers talk that way? Yes. Yes, lawyers are people too. When it came to Gaither, okay, let's see. Miss Love is his wife. Miss Love is not his wife. I saw a video. I actually think Miss Love is on the same team as Detective Gaither, if you know what I'm saying. That's my guess. Okay. Oh, Drea says she thinks he's talking about Mr. Brown, who works for the DA office. Not sure if he's a lawyer, but I seen him making faces during testimony. I noticed it first when A. Bennett testified. Interesting. Interesting. I haven't been able to like really pay attention to those kind of things. And I have to be honest with you, we all make faces in court. I was in a terrible car accident, and I had to both sides of my jaw are actually made out of metal. So this is like my fourth face. But the, what, like, wait, what was the point of telling you that? Oh, when I had the surgery to replace the sides of my jaw, they hit a nerve and I can't move my forehead. I used to have like 3 forehead wrinkles from smiling. I don't have forehead wrinkles anymore. I cannot move my forehead. And so luckily, even though I'm quite facially expressive, you can't see a whole lot of it in the courtroom. A lot of courtroom lawyers will use Botox to paralyze their face so that the jury won't be able to see their expression. Where you really don't want to see expression is when you're surprised by what a witness said. You don't want people to know that. Okay, let's see. The judge, super biased. Yeah, I agree. I can't wait to see how he rules after 48 hours, 84 hours of not being in court. They're always not in court. It's ridiculous. I'm getting my bachelor's in law, about to graduate, but it scares me. I will do this. Look, Tamika, don't be scared. What are you scared of? What's the worst that could happen? You go to law school and you pass? Oh no. Oh, that'd be terrible. Don't be scared. Law students and law professors and lawyers and judges, we are all people. Just people. Just regular people who are kind of nerdy, really. Nothing to be scared of. Nia and Tamika, I want the two of you to go to law school together. Damn it. OG Cadillac says you gotta go. Okay, let's go. Can someone let the defense know that the guy is making leading facial expressions? M. Miller, oh my gosh, I wish that was an objection. Your Honor, I don't like her face. Objection. That face is unacceptable. Hilarious. Okay, all right, so back to what I originally came to. When I saw that the feds had gone for P. Diddy and they were in and searching P. Diddy's home, I knew immediately that real stuff happened. Real stuff happened. You know, there was this man who came out and said that he was used as a sex slave for P. Diddy. Okay? There are men who are suing him, saying that did he force them into having sexual relations with people who are paid for sex? Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. This is the thing, though. With Diddy, when you see the feds going into his home and making these searches, this is not just Fulton County DA. This isn't the APD. These are federal agents. You know something's up. When you see APD searching, you hear APD, oh, well, we looked at the album cover and we thought this. I don't give a shit what you thought. Okay? I couldn't care less. I want the receipts. But that's the difference. I said in the beginning, I say it now. The difference between a state court and a federal court is that you're not going into you're not going into federal court unless they have a rock solid case against you. But like Jeffrey Williams, you can end up in state court when they have nothing. They can have absolutely nothing, and you can still end up there defending yourself, defending your life, you know, all of those things. It's pretty sick, actually, if you think about it. Pretty sick. And I really don't know what it has to do with. I want to say it has to do with taxes, but I don't think it does. I don't know. K-Way says Diddy with the freak off RICO is nuts. It is. The accusations about Diddy are wild. And this is the thing. Because the feds came for him, I tend to believe that they might be true. But with Jeffrey Williams and YSL, it's a bunch of APD, a bunch of Atlanta Police Department. Yesterday they had, 2 days ago, they had an officer who has been a street patrolman for 17 years, 16, 17 years. So you have no career ambition? Like, you don't want to move up the ranks? No, I don't care what you have to say. It's not a real case. It's not a real case. And it doesn't have to be. The state can come after you with this kind of stuff. And they get so much deference from these state court judges because they're all getting their paycheck from the same county. It's crazy, y'all. And we need to really try to protect ourselves against these things. It is crazy. Okay, let's see. Paradox, thank you. I hope you subscribe. I'm so glad that you just stumbled to the channel. It's excellent. Joseph says, Miss Love knows she can't introduce evidence like that. She's very conniving. That's a nice word. That is a good word to use. I like that, conniving. She is quite conniving. And she's awful. She's the awful kind of lawyer to go up against. It is no fun to go up against lawyers who lie. It is no fun to go up with sneaky. No, the game, these are the rules. Play the game the way the rules say. Okay, let's see. My law teacher, who's an ex-judge, did say they make a course about this case. So many red flags. I think so too. I think that after this trial in Georgia, there's going to be some serious changes related to RICO and how RICO is prosecuted. And I know for a fact this case will be a case study across law school classrooms. For sure. No doubt. The 3-panel judge will have the last laugh with YFN Glanville if a guilty verdict is that a bad look on the judge when they get the cases overturned. Yes. Mike, yes, this is a hearsay case. Susan, welcome. Thank you for joining. Susan asks, what can be done about the blatant bias? YFN Glanville needs to be more fair. My first time watching. Well, welcome, Susan. I'm so glad you came. And please subscribe and hit like. Really nothing can be done about the bias except that the citizens of Fulton County see the bias and vote him out. Certainly someone could make a report to the Committee of Judicial Conduct, but would anything actually come out of that? Probably not. Okay. Alda says conniving was the C word that comes to my mind. A different C word comes to my mind. Listen, when I was younger, I was like 21. My girlfriend started dating this lawyer, and we went out, and this was back when you could like smoke cigarettes in bars, and we were at the bar, and this guy lit up a cigarette, and I was like, lawyers smoke cigarettes? What? I was flabbergasted. No, we're pretty, you gotta be a kind of messed up person to decide to become a lawyer and like actually stick with it. Kayla, you stay 3 hours from Atlanta. Those officers and state attorneys are government employees by day and run the streets at night in all the clubs and hookah shops. I'm not surprised. I am not surprised to hear that at all. Really, Miss Love knows nothing, and she's so out of touch with the world and what's going on between rappers and rap battles. Well, Nisha, I gotta tell you, it's not just Miss Love. It's like every DA inside of the Fulton County DA office. And I'm not gonna lie, it's me too. I really don't know about rappers or rap battles. I wouldn't believe any of their battles are real. It all sounds so stupid to me. But the reality is, Miss Love doesn't even realize how she's coming across. Like, does she think the jury is receiving her well? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt that there's a loving reception of Miss Love coming out of that jury. I can't imagine a jury liking her. I don't know. Let's see. The state of Georgia screws up this case. Is there any way the feds can bring YSL on the new charges or recharge YSL? We do have federal RICO charges, but obviously the Fed is not concerned. If the Fed was concerned, we'd be having a whole different discussion here, right? So I don't think so. I really doubt the federal government sees this stupid, not even gang. This hybrid gang thing is such bullshit to me. I can't even imagine a world where Bloods and Crips are hanging out together and doing things in furtherance of a gang together. That's so stupid. Oh, I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. I'm really excited YSL Steel brought up Roddy Ricch, because I do know one of his songs, and it's called The Box, and it has some references to a bunch of these YSL gang traits that he says he's a Crip in the song, but then he talks about wiping his nose. Oh no, I wiped my nose. Should I be prosecuted? Get out of here. Blue Quartz, thanks for joining. Welcome. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. King Divine says he just don't care about an overturn because nothing's going to happen when they do. Nisha says it's crazy because the jury, the majority of them are so old that they're probably going to side with her because they don't understand neither. They are older. Almost all juries are old. I mean, if you think about it, who has time to spend all day at a courthouse? People who don't have jobs. Who doesn't have jobs? Old people, right? I don't think that the jury's not going to understand. I talked about this last week. Juries are surprisingly smart and intuitive, and people who come into jury duty take it seriously. So I think we will see the right thing done by the jury. I do. Most of them are 70. Funny thing is, I bet every single one of them knows who Lil Wayne is. Just by the way. YFN Glanville is up for re-election. All right, well, guys, don't vote Glanville, okay? If you want to end shit like this, make sure judges like him aren't being voted in. Even though the case is hard to wash, I believe all the issues we talk about would be great for Thug and appeal court. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's so many things he can appeal on. And another thing I'm going to talk to you in the future about is the different type of error, appealable error, harmful error, non-harmful error, that kind of stuff. So those are errors, or how you're going to be able to go and properly appeal. What happened to the Fannie Willis case against Trump? So I believe it's still going. I don't know. The way Love and Hilton drops the N-bomb, they in these streets. Well, Adams used the N-word the other day, and he was very comfortable with it. I'm sure he didn't like the okay, Paradox. I definitely agree with you. That woman, and we're going to talk about this more tomorrow, because tomorrow's my recap of this week. Today is just, bonus material. But I do agree that woman, cop, detective, whatever she was a bitch. And the way she spoke to Shard, I promise you that turned the jury off. I promise you that turned the jury off. When he said we means more than one. Are you insulting my intelligence? What? Total turn off for the jury, I'm sure of it. Okay, King Divine reminds us that the jury doesn't see all of Miss Love's antics. This is true. But they've seen enough of her personality to know that she sucks. I'm sure of it. I'm sure. Chills says, I saw a video of some lawyers saying the state knows that they will lose and that they're trying to prolong the trial to make the defendant suffer. Do you think that's true? Yes. I don't know if that's true, but I wouldn't be surprised. I have a case right now. I went yesterday. The person that's being sued by me and my clients has way more resources, and he's just been a total dick the whole time, dragging it on, refuses to go to mediation, all these things, because he knows he can beat. This is the thing with the American justice system. Who has the most money wins. And if you want an example of that, he just died. His name's O.J. Simpson. Jiggy, I am OG Cadillac, aka Lauren Cadillac, and thank you for joining. I really appreciate everyone that's come out today. This is a great discussion. I want to keep going. Eventually I'm gonna have to, like, you know, do my job, but I really am having fun, and I will be back tomorrow. So Alda says the jury under 50 but one person. I think there's more than one person under 50 in the jury, but I heard the majority of the jury is older, which you have to be, because, like, you know, the rest of us have jobs, right? I will be starting tomorrow at 10 Central, by the way. So if you're on Eastern, that's 11 your time. Will they ever give him a bond? Tamika, that's a great question. Now, I watched the YFN Melly trial, and that poor child, if we want to call him a poor child, he's been in jail for like 6 years or some shit. And they won't release him because he's been charged with murder. What I don't understand is why Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, has to sit in a jail cell. I don't understand I realize there are some not murder charges, but like murder as overt acts that support these charges. But Jeff Williams is not on any of them. He is simply on charge 1 and 56. We talked about that last week. And to me, that does not give rise to keep a man in a jail cell. I do not understand what's going on there. I don't know why he hasn't been put on bond. And I don't think they will ever give him a bond. I don't think they will release him until he wins. And I think that's sick. I also heard that they won't shut off the light in his cell and that they keep him in solitary confinement, which I would argue are both violations of the Geneva Convention and are disgusting ways to treat your fellow Americans. All right, D says, you know, OG, now that you mentioned the DA's matching attire, it shows a Jedi mind trick. It could be conveyed as they are all in unison. When I was in mock trial, we always coordinated our attire, period. We are on the same team. We're wearing the same colors. Just like when you go see the Mavs, whoever they're beating this week, I don't remember, they're in the playoffs, they're doing well. My son is a huge Luka fan, so when you see the Mavs, they're all in the same uniform, wearing the same color. You know which team has the ball, which team is running the ball. That is the point of, you know, dressing similarly to your co-counsel and showing this is a cohesive team. And they were a cohesive team until recently, and now it seems the team has been broken up a bit. Because you have the state, aka Miss Love, and then you have the honorable Miss Hilton. So, no honorable before love. Okay, K-Way, we're going to talk about this tomorrow. All right. D, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow also. Alda, I'd rather be rich and guilty than broke and innocent in a court of law. Amen. And that's sad. That's not the government we were promised. Like, that's not what the Constitution says. So it really is really, really messed up. Sister Love let an 18-year-old boy with autism die in Fulton County. Interesting. I think Miss Love presentation has been awful. Yes, Joseph, I agree. The jury has got to be pondering, if all these people have been charged and convicted of crimes, and Jeffrey Williams, how not? How does that constitute? Here's what I'm wondering. We heard testimony of his tour. We heard testimony of his tour schedule under DK. And I became exhausted just hearing the schedule, just hearing Monday Memphis, Tuesday this, Wednesday that. I'm like, oh, what? Like, that's overwhelming. And is that really what musicians are doing on tour? That's crazy. And also, where would you have the time to run a street gang? Ridiculous. Oh, ridiculous. They want a new jail and courthouse, and they want publicity. Well, that's true. Oh, King Divine says they let the mob bosses get bond. Interesting. Interesting. And Red Bunny, I agree. He could have been on house arrest. I don't understand how NBA YoungBoy got to go to Utah on house arrest, And Jeffrey Williams is forced to sit in a cell with lights on and gain weight. I don't understand it. Okay. Let's see. They want a new jail. The gang expert would know. Listen, Jermaine. The way Miss Love would have it, my grandma's quilting group would be RICO. Okay? Me and my coworkers could be brought up on RICO because we have matching shirts. They're the same colors. We use the same language. Pretty much any group of humans that are together could be brought up on RICO. It's gross. It feels un-American to me, and that is upsetting. 8 women. Oh, here we go. Mike Jones. Where'd you get this? Thank you, sir. 8 women, 4 men, 6 black women, 2 white, 2 black men, 2 white men. Only 2 over 50. The rest are younger. I knew some of them were younger because I heard them talking to the judge one day, and one of them sounded young. D says, YFN wife. YFN Glanville wife look like DA Love. Yeah, like a chunkier version of her. Yeah. Miss Love is about to be down another 100 points when YSL Steel introduces Thug and Wayne's new song. That'll be great. That'll be great. All right, guys. I gotta wind down. My CPA is texting me. I get so irritated every time he texts me. Why don't you know this shit already? Didn't you become a CPA? I don't know. I get so irritated. So I gotta go talk to him. I got to do some other work. I got to write a mediation statement, etc. But I'm gonna be back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. We're gonna recap this 10 a.m. Central, guys, because it'll be 11 for you Eastern folks. I'm gonna recap this week, and I really appreciate. Oh, Patty, no, Georgia isn't the only place with RICO charges. I did look into it. There are. It's kind of like marijuana laws. Like 35 states have RICO. But yeah, I wouldn't be moving to Georgia anytime soon. Also, I think it's really hot there. So, K-Way, Love tried to object to the tour schedule, but played a video of him on tour. I know, man. I don't know. I am Tavonda. It's going to be info@cadillaclaw.net, and I will write it down right here as we leave. And Nisha, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. This has been a great time. I've had so much fun, and I can't wait to see you all tomorrow. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and keep your exciting comments ready for tomorrow. If you find me facts, anything like that, send it over, guys. All right? Thank you for joining. Have a great day. I'm OG Cadillac.